Good morning and welcome to the Really Helpful Club. I'm Sarah Austin, and this is the latest in our In Conversation series where we shine the spotlight on different entrepreneurs, business owners and experts in their field. And this morning I'm going to be joined by Natasha Edge. Natasha is the founder of Appearance and Attitude, and Natasha is a personal stylist who helps women to gain their confidence in their style. So, very much looking forward to seeing Natasha. She is just joining me now. Natasha, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome to Really Helpful Club and welcome to our In Conversation series.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Good. Well, thank you very much for joining me. It's a beautiful morning, beautiful spring morning. So, and we're being joined by lots of different followers, which is terrific. Now, when we do these, what we find is that it's great when we get lots of people watching, engaging, commenting. So if you know Natasha, if you've used her services, or you're a client of hers, or you'd like to know more, please do pop a comment into the chat box. This is your opportunity to learn everything that you want to know about Natasha, and particularly about sort of personal styling, some of the trends that might be going on, and to understand more about her and her journey. So do chat away in the comments box as we go along. Now, Natasha, I love this conversation series that we've been running. We've been doing this for, I think it's about 15 months at Really Helpful Club. And it's fascinating because this is all about understanding you, your journey, what makes you tick, what's the inspiration behind the business. But I think what's also really, really interesting is it's the journey, someone's journey, and how they got to do what they do is every bit as interesting as sort of as the destination, as it were. So tell us a little bit about you, how you got started, and what your journey is.
Okay, so I guess foremost, I'm a mum and I'm a wife. That will always be my main priority. But I guess there was no real sort of inspirational wow moment, should I say, that suddenly sort of hit me one day, I'm going to be a stylist. I've always loved clothes. I've always loved fashion, colour, all of that side of it. And I grew up with a mum who was very much in that industry and owned a clothes shop. But for me personally, I went through quite a lot of stuff in my early 30s, sort of health-wise, trying to get pregnant, that kind of thing, that really affected my body, my confidence. And it was really, I think, going through that myself that I realised actually I would love to do a role or help other women who I felt had experienced that loss of confidence, those changes in their body. And yeah, so that's where the journey started really, and actually wanting to qualify and genuinely be able to offer some support and help to real women.
Brilliant. Well, it's so interesting to hear you talk about that, because it's something I think really resonates with us at Really Helpful Club and so many members of our community, that, that sort of relatability of being a mum, being a wife, being you as well, and that journey through life, which is, we know is not linear, is where each and every one of us will take knocks, and that can be a knock to one's confidence. And it is all about, so much of life is about finding your confidence and being able to know who you are and your self-belief, and recognizing that we do go through different chapters in our life where we might have been a very confident teenager or a very confident, person in their 20s. And as we change, and as our look changes as well, I think that can be a huge knock to one's confidence. So I thank you for sharing that, because I think that is very important to feel a degree of relatability to someone that you want to know about.
Absolutely. And I think as women, we don't often realise how many changes that we actually go through in our lives. I mean, our colouring alone changes 3 times as a matter of course, in sort of hormonal, when you hit puberty, pregnancy, menopause, those kind of things. We have so many challenges and changes that we just have to deal with. And no one teaches you how to deal with that, or how to cope, or how to make yourself feel better. So that's a big part of my journey really, is to be able to sort of teach a little bit of what I've learned and pass that on.
I think that's so interesting, isn't it? It's because you can be very comfortable and very confident until change comes about. Now that in itself can be an opportunity to take a different direction, and to to have a different look, or to be a different you, or to change direction. And it's turning the sort of challenge into an opportunity. But we all know that that's what we want to aspire to do, but it's not necessarily so easy. And I think that's so interesting what you say about how your colouring changes at those, really key stages in your life. So also, not only, you're going through those hormonal changes, which are incredibly important and quite disconcerting, because these things are cumulative. They kind of creep up on you. And we know we do a lot around menopause and the change and the impact as well on the different symptoms. And I think what you're highlighting is yet another aspect of what we go through as women, is that change is something that we have to understand and become sort of knowledgeable in order to be empowered to power through it. But if we don't have that information, that knowledge, I think it's really disconcerting, can really knock your confidence.
It really can. And I think it's, it's very like sort of, you could say when you go to school, you never know how to tie a tie. No one teaches that. You're not automatically learn, how to do that. Someone has to show you, whether it's a parental figure or it's a teacher. And it's just learning those basics. And I see it very much, my role is teaching the basics, as to how to start becoming more confident, whether it be body shape, colour, shopping, whatever it is. But it is just those very basic steps that, I can hopefully share with others and help them feel better about themselves.
And tell us a little bit about Appearance and Attitude, which I love the name, by the way. And so let's start with that. I mean, what was the inspiration behind the business, and how did you get to the name?
Yeah, so the inspiration behind the business was very much my personal story. I wanted to go out and sort of do something that I was very passionate about, both in the way that I felt about it, but also things that I love. And I think you work for a long time, and if you can do a job that you love and you always look forward to every day, then that's an amazing achievement and great to be able to do that. Appearance and Attitude was formed because my background before doing this and starting my company was recruitment and HR, which I did for about 16 years. And I saw a massive similarity between when candidates would go for an interview. They're judged instantly. We're all judged within about 5 to 7 seconds. So the minute you walk through a door of an interview, someone sort of looked you up and down and made their initial judgment or opinion of you. And that's how we all are in real life. So it's a two-way thing though. But if you look good, you feel good in yourself. So the Appearance and Attitude was almost like a reflection or a mirrored image of others' opinions towards you and attitudes towards you and your appearance, so hence the name. My background was recruitment, so I did that for a long time, and then having gone through having a child, gone through some difficulties there and health changes, it was just important to me to do a business that kind of ticked all those boxes for me personally as a mum and a wife around my child, but also that I loved. And we offer 4 main services, which I guess are our key services, which is colour analysis, image consultation, personal shopping and wardrobe detox. And those are the main sort of services I offer.
Brilliant. And I guess actually I love the different services, because I think you sort of think, well, why do you need that, as it were? So going shopping can be a really great experience, or can be a horrendous experience, can't it? And and you can sort of, and I think some of it as well is about how you feel in yourself and the sort of mood you're in when you go out. And I just think I love the idea of having a companion with you, and who is sort of like, he's like your best mate, but your best mate with a really good lens about how you can shop really well. So maybe sort of talk a little bit more about the services, about I guess it's how you add value, isn't it? So why do I want to go shopping with you?
So I would say that you want to go shopping with a stylist because, like you said, when we go shopping with our friends or our family, rightly so, quite often they're very kind. So you could put an outfit on and they go, oh, you look great, you look fantastic, because that's what they feel is the right thing to do, because they're your friend or family, they want to be supportive. My job is to give you options. So I always say I'm going to be honest, but I'm not going to be cruel about it. So I'm going to always, because people are paying me to be honest. So my job is to give you lots of choice, pick out things that maybe you haven't tried, whether that be colour, shape, style, but obviously using my knowledge, hopefully they're going to be very flattering and that kind of thing. And it's just to show you and encourage you to try different things. And I would say probably 70% of clients that I go personal shopping with end up buying things that they would never have picked out themselves. And that's such a common thing they say to me is, I just would never have chosen that colour. I would never have gone for that print or that style. And to then see themselves, in the reflection in the mirror and actually really like the way they look is a really incredibly powerful thing. And you know, it's very basics. I mean, you know, I do a lot. I'm the runner basically on a personal shop. So, you know, I'm that person that if you need another size, you need to try something else, I go and run about for you, you know, get all the different sizes and changes. And I know I can carry a shopping if that makes it easier, but I can also, for people that really don't like the whole experience of shopping, you know, I can actually do a pre-shop for them. So I will go to the shops, the changing room, set up all the clothes. So they literally walk in and it's all done for them. So it becomes a really luxurious experience. And I think with any of the services that I offer, for me, I see them as no different to getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting your teeth done, anything like that. It's all about things that just make you feel better about yourselves. And that's all that matters. It's how you feel. It doesn't matter about anyone else. So I see myself very much as one of those services really that can just make you feel better. And people should invest in themselves. And I think we shouldn't think of, you know, using a stylist or any one of those services as an extravagant or, you know, something that they shouldn't do, because actually it is just something that is almost like a sort of coach. People have said, oh, you're a bit like a coach really, aren't you? Or a counsellor, because it is all to do with that feeling better about yourself and that self-belief really.
Well, it's back to that confidence thing. And I love it, that sort of that description you gave about, you know, going into a shop, and I think if we're all really honest with ourselves, we tend to always end up buying the same colours, the same shapes, because we know, we sort of know what we feel comfortable with and what we think we look good in. So it's that having that confidence to do something different but still makes us look good or even look better. And so I think everything around what you're doing comes back to that confidence. And what we know is that, you know, a shot in the arm and that sort of, you know, boost to confidence is, there's nothing quite like it, is there?
There really isn't. And, you know, most women that I sit with, I mean, everyone has a consultation before we start any shop, colour, whatever it is I'm doing. Everyone has, you know, I need to take the time with all my clients to fully understand them, what's their driver. And most people have an impression that you book a personal stylist because you've got loads of money and it's a very frivolous thing to do, and that's just for the rich and famous. And it's absolutely not. It's for your everyday woman who maybe has been through something in her life. And that's where I see most of my clients. They have had something happen to them, whether it is they've had a baby, menopause, lost a job, divorce, cancer, whatever it is. There are so many things that trigger those losses of confidence in our lives that actually they just need that little bit of help. And the biggest and best part is actually they can admit to themselves that they do want some help and they are going to go and seek some advice from whoever it might be. But it all comes back down to that. And it is something that, you know, I just need to talk to them and listen to what they really need to be able to work with them, because that's really important for me, you know, to know what their story is and how they came about wanting to see someone.
Couldn't agree with you more. And particularly if you're going to spend the day with someone going shopping and you're going to, you know, in theory, act on your advice, you've got to feel that connection and relatability, and that most importantly, that, you know, you get them, that, you know, that you understand them. And so that advice is worth acting upon. So again, everything comes back to that confidence. Now, tell us about the wardrobe detox, because I think, you know, again, if we're all honest, open up our wardrobe in the morning and, you know, we tend to go for the same thing, and it's that safety, time, all those sorts of things. And actually, who wouldn't love someone who came in and did a bit of a wardrobe edit? So tell us a bit how that works.
So the wardrobe detox is usually between about 4 and 6 hours. So it is quite a long time. Like you say, I'm with someone. The best thing about a wardrobe detox is, again, I think people think I just turn up and go get rid of that, you know, and lose half their wardrobe. It's never about that. I will help them declutter and reduce their wardrobe if needs be, but quite often it's things like helping them look at the pieces they have. So often, like you say, we have the very similar colour palette in the wardrobe, very often very dark or very neutral. We tend to have a very sort of consistent buying pattern. So we always go and buy the same kinds of things. So people's wardrobes tend to be very colourless, I would say, in most cases. Not always, but quite often they're very much a neutral palette, those safe colours, black, navy, grey. Usually a lack of colour, but a lot of very similar items. And what that does is it really restricts you from being able to create outfits. So part of my role is to look at what people have, help them keep the pieces that really do sort of flatter them, they feel really good in, fit them, help them create some outfits as well that they've maybe not tried. So actually putting different pieces together, whether that be colour or, you know, just the item. But we get stuck in a rut. That's absolutely a fact. And quite often, you know, women will have 4 pairs of the same trouser because, oh, they fitted, it's a miracle. I'm going to buy one in every colour. And it's, you know, and it is like that, things with labels on that we've forgotten about, because we only live and tend to wear in about 20-25% of our wardrobe all of the time, which means we're wasting so much money. So for me, it's not about making people spend more money. It's actually being more sustainable and actually looking at what they have and really using those pieces really well, getting that cost per wear and value out of them, and just being left with a wardrobe that actually just brings you joy. And I think, you know, we all sort of some days have days where we open the wardrobe and go, oh, what am I going to wear? When actually, by the time I've finished, hopefully people open their wardrobe and go, oh my God, I'm excited. What am I going to wear? You know, I could wear that outfit or that. And they just understand their clothes better. They just have a lot more confidence in the pieces that they're left with. And that's usually how a wardrobe detox works. But it's like therapy. People often text me the next day and say, I'm sitting in my bed, I'm looking at my wardrobe. This brings me so much joy. I'm so happy it's not messy or cluttered. You know, and I get wonderful messages afterwards of how just it's cleansed them, being able to do that or move on from a certain stage in their life.
Yes, totally understand. I can just, it feels palpable. I can sort of feel you coming around to my wardrobe right now, and you know, but that got to go through that declutter process, but the joy that can bring, and sort of rediscovering yourself is, I think, a really empowering, uplifting experience. And so I guess, I mean, look, you know, you provide a variety of different services. It's fascinating to hear you talk about it. But what do you think makes you different from other stylists and other people who are doing this sort of thing?
So the thing I think my USP, or what makes me different, it sounds obvious, but I think it's me. Because before I started the business, I did a lot of research on personal stylists, and within reason, we all, I guess, say a lot of the same stuff, prices and that kind of thing. But what made me choose the stylist I wanted to book was the way she looked, and I felt that she was relatable. So for me, it's very much that I see myself as a real woman stylist. You know, I have lumps and bumps. I have days where I don't always feel my best. You know, I might get a breakout on my skin. I'm a normal size lady. I'm not, you know, like a supermodel. And I think it is that relatable factor. And I think it's such, and it can be quite an intimidating thing. If someone is feeling very lacking in confidence or down about themselves, to book a stylist and then to be sat in front of someone who, you know, is, I don't know, 5, whatever you imagine is the perfect image, you know, 5'10", size 10 person who's perfect in every way and hasn't had any life experiences, that must be so hard when you're feeling very down about yourself. So I try and sell myself as a real woman stylist. You know, I have been through changes. I started early menopause. I've had trouble with conceiving. You know, I'm not a super skinny waif that, you know, I'm quite short. And I just think that makes it relatable, because women can actually have a conversation with me and go, well, do you know what it's like? And I can say, actually, I do. I've been there. I've experienced that. I've had those days after having my son where I really lacked body confidence and I just wanted to wear black all day long and all those kind of things. And I think that it's that sharing and quite often shedding tears, if I'm honest. You know, it's very common for women to sit in front of me and shed tears and cry about things they're really feeling. You know, and I'm quite an emotional person. I can get emotional back. And it's nice to have that connection, because like you say, you need to have that with the stylist or anyone like myself who you're going to work with. So yeah, it's me, and I just hope that I'm relatable and down to earth and honest, and I kind of can give that service based on real life experience.
I think that is so interesting. And, you know, again, it sort of goes back to, you know, what you're offering is that it could be a fairly intimidating experience, but what you're doing is bringing joy into it and enabling someone to be able to close that chapter, if that's what they need to do, and to feel empowered to enter that next chapter and to have the confidence to, you know, to move forward, take the next step, be themselves, be the person they are now. And I do think that is something that's really interesting. You know, in your kind of menopausal years, you are you know, I'll sort of closing the chapter on those earlier years where it was so easy. Life was so easy. You could easily lose weight. You could look
Yeah.
good in something, and it's much tougher. And it's you know, and then you might have other factors thrown in, like, you know, teenage children. You know, so much that you can be managing, and it's like a perfect storm, which is almost conspiring against you, and makes it, you know, particularly tough. So I absolutely get it, and that so it is it's almost an essential is what you're providing, but it's an essential that brings joy, and it is a, you know, it's a treat, but it's absolutely the right sort of treat, because it's benefits become long term.
It is a treat. You've exactly nailed it, because I think women are very selfless, and I think we put everyone else above us all the time. You know, whether it is our children, our husbands, our partners, our jobs, even the dog gets a walk today. You'll be feeling dreadful, and you'll still walk the dog, because you just feel it's that mum guilt or female guilt that we all carry. And I think when they book someone like myself, it is a treat. It's a big deal. So actually, when they do that, they need to be made very comfortable very quickly. And know that actually I'm someone who is hopefully going to listen to them. I'm going to be able to offer some genuine, real, but also very doable sort of advice and tips. That's not going to be, you know, well, you need to spend thousands of pounds to get a whole new wardrobe. That's not realistic. So I'm just going to give them those basic steps and kind of work with them on their journey and be part of that. And it's a privilege for me to do that. You know, if I'm honest, it's the best part about my job, is seeing those women start to smile at their own reflection, or actually say to themselves, you know what, I look pretty, actually I look quite attractive. It's amazing to hear them suddenly say that when you've been with them at the beginning and see how they were.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And you know, when you have your photograph taken of your family, and you're sort of the one that's then trying to hide out of the background, you know, it's so relatable, isn't it? And so listen, you know, we've got lots of people watching and taking part. If you've used any of Natasha's services, please pop a comment into the chat box. We love to hear from the other side of the equation, you know, from people who, you know, who are clients and want to put their comments in. But also, this is a great opportunity for you, if you're interested in what Natasha does, pop a question into the comments box, because Natasha, as you can see, is so passionate about what she does, so much experience and so much knowledge. So, you know, this is your chance to, you know, to ask her a question. And Natasha, part of what we do in this series is shining the spotlight of you on you as an entrepreneur, as someone running our own business. And you know, during the pandemic of the last 2 years, there have been so many challenges, and you know, to a person, we've all had to adapt. If you run a business, you've all had to adapt, pivot. You know, pivot was the word of 2020. Is what have you done in terms of adapting to your needs, perhaps changing your services, and how have you coped and adapted?
Yeah, so I mean, gosh, well, lockdown hit me massively, like so many businesses. Obviously, I couldn't work with anyone one to one, so my whole business kind of just nosedived very quickly. So I had to look at new ways of earning money, and obviously changing and adapting the business. And the biggest thing for me was online. It was something that I had never offered. I didn't even know what Zoom was before lockdown, if I'm honest. And now I offer Zoom consultations. You know, I do online workshops. I've done some colour workshops. I've done how to detox your wardrobe, the capsule wardrobe workshop. So really going online. So lockdown was really tough for me in the beginning, but I adapted, and now I'm still using those services now, and people still book on the workshops. They still, obviously, geographically, lockdown opened up a whole new client base for me, because it means that now I can help women all over the UK. I helped a lady, you know, I helped women in France and the US, and I've had someone in Switzerland. So it really has opened up a whole new area of clients that I never would have dreamed that I would actually, you know, I thought they had to almost be on my doorstep. And now I'm helping people, you know, up north and things like that. And that's really nice, that I've gained a whole new audience and a whole new client base, and certainly social media wise. I did a lot over lockdown of, you know, almost daily, okay, it's really tough today, let's wear colour, and little challenges I was setting people, and, you know, how to make your wardrobe a rainbow. So silly things. I did makeup on my son, you know, stupid stuff that was fun, and I thought everyone's going, oh, I'm so bored, what are we going to do? So I tried to just to add a bit of entertainment, I guess, and it has kind of given me a whole new following and audience, which has been brilliant.
And it's so interesting listening to you talk, because almost, you know, there's so many businesses that we have talked to in the last year or two who, you know, when lockdown hit, which is sort of, you know, almost exactly sort of 2 years ago, you would have thought your business was finished, and that you were going to literally have to close because you could no longer do what you did. And watching the way that you adapted, how other entrepreneurs adapted, was fascinating and so commendable, because it again, it's that ultimate necessity is the mother of invention, and you reinvented in a way that you probably would never have done if it hadn't been for that.
No.
Now, we've got a lovely comment that's come in. Had a great makeup session with Natasha. It was so much fun. Lots of good advice. So who doesn't want to have that? And I know you sort of touched on this slightly, Natasha, but what do you find is the most rewarding aspect of running your business?
I mean, there's probably a few things, to be honest. I mean, I love the fact that I can work the business very much around my family. I mean, I do end up working weekends as well. It's the nature of the beast. But, it's been great, particularly when my son was younger. I could sort of do the school pickups and stuff. So it's amazing to do that. No client is ever the same. So it's the variety, it's interesting. And it is that, to say, it sounds sort of maybe a bit cheesy, but seeing clients smile at their reflection. And really, I get genuinely, after sort of doing 16 years of recruitment, I have never felt so much satisfaction since doing my styling, because I get so many lovely, lovely messages from people saying, you literally have changed my life, or you've made me feel better. I'm now in a new relationship. You helped me move on from my divorce. Just absolutely lovely things that when you read them, you kind of think, God, did I really do that? But to that person, it really, really meant something. So it's, the reward and the pleasure I get from hearing those messages and reading those messages really is just, it's just lovely. There isn't a better job as far as I'm concerned. And I love clothes and shopping. So it's like,
what's not to love?
Exactly.
But it does come back, on a serious point, it comes back to that self-awareness, confidence, the building of confidence, which is so important, because it's not just sort of one day or one moment or one declutter in one's life. It is actually the long-term benefits are really profound. So I absolutely get why you get that sense of self-fulfillment. And if you were in, if someone was sitting here saying, look, I'm thinking of starting a business, whether that is in your industry or just starting up, candidly share what advice you would give to them, the key challenges, or what's your number one top tip?
First thing is, it's incredibly hard work. So,
you're not the first to say that.
Yeah, I seriously think if it's something you want to do, because I came from very much a corporate office environment, and you're used to having your finance team, your IT support, your social media, everything, and suddenly it's just you, and you have to do everything. So you have to become everything in your business. So it's a massive learning curve. So have a good think about not just whether you want that, but also what you want out of the business. I think that's something that I wrote down. It wasn't just financial. When I was in my 20s, I was hunger driven and money driven, but now it's, I want that self-satisfaction. I really want to do something that I'm passionate about. I wanted something that was around my family. So it's really your why. Why do you want to do it? And then you've just got to go for it. You have to know that you are going to work lots of hours. You're going to have to put in the evenings, the weekends, depending on your business. And just don't give up. Like you say, lockdown for me was dreadful. The first month or 6 weeks of lockdown was literally like, my God, my business has collapsed. I lost 5 corporate bookings, which was a lot of money, in 2 weeks, when I was meant to talk and present and do International Women's Day. And it kind of just nosedived very quickly. And I had those couple of days where I was like, Jesus, my whole business has just died. But someone sort of said, do you know what? You have to pick yourself up and you have to keep changing lanes. And that was the best advice someone ever gave me. And it was like, if you stay in the same lane, nothing's going to change. But actually, change lanes, do the different things. Think about what people really need and want at this time. And then you just got to go for it. And that's really was quite pivotal, I think, as far as my business, and just constantly challenging yourself, and just going for it. Yeah, you have to love it. You have to be very passionate about what you do. to want to put in those extra hours and to really, you know, to make it work. But just go for it and enjoy it, because, you know, life is short, and like you say, you work a lot. It's a lot of hours in a day. So try and do something that you really love and that means something to you.
Great advice, and I think, you know, really useful for anyone watching or listening later. And this is what we always say, you know, we will share this onto our IGTV channel a little bit after we've ended the interview today with Natasha. We'll then share it on the Really Helpful Club website. We'll pop it onto our YouTube channel. We will share this basically across all our different social media platforms. So if you're enjoying this with Natasha, or if you're a client and you've enjoyed the service that she provides, we always say to you, don't keep this to yourself. This is great advice for business owners, for people who are interested in building their confidence, discovering their self-awareness. And so don't keep this to yourself. Be sure to share it to your followers, to your friends, and to your contacts who could benefit from this. So Natasha, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And I have just one last question. I mean, you know, you've talked about this journey you've gone through in the last couple of years, which has been, you know, a real sort of shock, as it were, and how you've adapted and changed. And now, you know, the world is kind of literally your oyster, and how, you know, and the joy and fulfillment that you're getting from this. But if we sit down and say a year, another 2 years' time, what do you think you'll be looking back in the rear mirror? What do you think you'll be telling us that you've gone on to do in this next couple of years? What's your vision now?
I mean, I guess, you know, I want to obviously keep doing what I'm doing. I want to still continue to work with, you know, further women and men, you know, and obviously continue sharing the knowledge and also developing my knowledge as well. I mean, maybe even going back and furthering my styling knowledge again is something that I always love learning, and, you know, and sort of developing that side of things. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to do more corporate stuff. I enjoy the corporate workshops. You know, maybe now we can do the face-to-face events. They're starting to come back, doing a capsule wardrobe workshop. So yeah, just doing more of what I'm doing and growing my client base further, really, I think that's the best I can hope for, and that would be great if I can achieve that.
Natasha, it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, as ever, I've written down so many different things, and we'll share some of this, you know, when we put this onto IGTV. But I mean, for me, two things really, really stood out here. I mean, I guess one, it's your relatability, and I love it when you say, I've got lumps and bumps, bits I'm not so keen on, and I've been through some real stuff that makes me relatable and honest. And I love that, because I think that will be really resonating with everyone watching. But it's the joy that you get. It's seeing your clients smile at their reflection. And for each and every one of us that's looking for our own sense of self-fulfillment, to do a job you love and look forward to every day. Natasha, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
Lovely. Thank you, Sarah. See you soon.
You too.
Bye.